Hi everyone and welcome back. We will be doing a tutorial for weapons. So let's try to make this quick and painless. Here we go. If you just want to take a look at the weapons that are available to you, please go to the left side. You'll see your hanger. Just tap on equip and you'll have your inventory there. Just go to any bot that you have currently. So for example, I will be looking at let's look at light weapons first. So I will pick the Talus, for example. Talus carries 2 light weapons, so just tap on the light weapon and you'll have your inventory there. Let's look at the store on the right side, and here you have all the light weapons available. So the first one is the Wolf. This one is a standard. It comes with the Talus and is not a very good weapon in terms of later in game. Next up you have the light weapon Claimer. This one is 50,000 silver, fairly cheap, and but it does have a range of 450. If you look down at the specifications, on the left it's damage per minute, and on the right side you'll see the distance, which is 450 meters, and that's what you want to pay attention to. So please pay attention to the range that you're going to be using these weapons at. So this one's 450 meters and it does a decent amount. This is kind of like a sniper weapon for light bots. Next up is a highly recommended one, the Dominator. It is 300 meter range. The closer you get to the enemy, the more damage you will do because of the bullet spread. So keep that in mind. So 300 meters is the max distance that you can shoot from. Again, the closer you get, the more damage you'll do. Definitely a good buy. This one is 150,000 silver. Next up, right next to it, is the drill bit. The drill bit distance is 250 meters. This does have a 4 second right below the 250. It says 4 seconds. That is the reload time. So you'll take a shot every 4 seconds. So make sure those shots land on your target. Another nice thing to look at is on the left side, all the way at the bottom, you have 15 meters, and that will be your splash radius. That will be the damage done to any bots using a shield or any bots within the area of your target. So you can hit more than one bot with this. 15 meters, it's not 100% great, but it's better than a lot of other weapons that don't even do that. So keep that in mind. 250 meters, you have to be close, 4 seconds between shots, so make sure they land. This one is 100,000 silver and a good buy, so definitely purchase one of those. Up next is the Coal. This is a missile weapon. This one will actually lock onto your target and follow them. It does shoot 4 missiles and it takes 3 seconds to shoot every single volley. You have a range of 350 meters max. It's an okay weapon, not very needed. This one you would have to purchase the blueprints. It's 70 blueprints. You don't really have to focus on that. Next one up is the light weapon Ranger. Now this Ranger is very deadly. It fires 16 rockets. These are not lock-on, so you got to be very accurate with it. So again, this is 250 meter range, so fairly close. And the only issue with this one is the reload time. The reload time is very long on this, but the amount of time it takes to unload the entire clip is extremely fast. So it's a good one and it's a bad one in those sense. It's 6,000 gold not really worth it. But if you have it, might as well try it out. We will scroll down. Next one, we'll talk about medium weapons. The next one is the Viper. This is a new weapon that was just released. Actually, let me go over here to the inventory. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to my bots and pick a medium slot in order to look at its stats. So you go to the store and okay, let's talk about the Prime. Actually, so the Prime has a 600 meter radius range, and it does fire 2 shots. It's a double barrel sniper weapon, so this is like the Claymore that we were talking about earlier before. And yes, so 600 meter range, fairly decent. 200,000 silver. You can purchase that. Next one is the Cobra, medium weapon, 350 meter range, costs 400,000 silver. Not really necessary. Next one up is a medium weapon hammer. Now, the hammer is actually a pretty good weapon. A lot of people have this as an underrated weapon, in my opinion. Its range is 450 meters, and it only costs 40 blueprints, so you can get that fairly quick. Now, the reason why I say this one's underrated is because a lot of people tend to look at this weapon, the 06, right under it. Now, the 06 does do more damage. Its range is 400 meters, so it's a little bit close combat. Now, here's the difference. The 06 actually has bullet spread. So the closer you get to your target, the more damage you will do. The farther away you are, the bullet will spread and you won't land all your shots. So keeping that in mind, you have a max of 400 meter range, but you'll do the best damage around 200 and closer. Meanwhile, the hammer does slightly less damage. It has a 450 meter range, so you can stay farther away, but its damage is actually consistent the entire time. So it's up to you which one you'd like to use. If you'd like to play up close, I recommend the 06. If you like to play medium to long range, use the hammer. Next we got the Nyx. This medium weapon has a range of 450 meters. To purchase it, you will have to spend gold, 4.5 thousand gold. So you can purchase it. It does have a rapid fire feature to it, so you can do more damage quicker. You can purchase that if you have it, if you have the gold for it. If not, again, I do recommend the hammer or the 06. Next up is the Uxtron. This is similar to the Ranger, just a medium version of it. It fires 40 rockets, does a decent amount of damage. The max range on it is 300 meters, and it does cost 250 blueprints. Again, just like the Ranger, the issue it has is the reload time. So it does have a very long reload, and could cause you to lose your bot by the time you fully reload. Next up is the Bolt. This medium weapon actually locks on to its targets and fires 4 missiles. The max range is 450 meters. Now, for this, you do have to have and maintain a visual on your target. You cannot hide behind a wall and be able to fire these rockets. You do have to maintain a line of sight, so keep that in mind when using this weapon. It is 500 blueprints, and if you'd like to play somewhat of as a support role, definitely a good one. Next up is the Zibins. This one is actually one of my favorite weapons. This one has a 350 meter range. It does overheat fairly fast, so keep that in mind when you're using a bot with it. It could heat up your bot really quick, and you won't be able to shoot very long, but it does do high damage, and it also has the slow down ability that will cause enemy bots hit by this weapon to actually slow down and come to a halt. This one is 800,000 silver, so definitely a good purchase. Next one up is the Spunk. I was a big fan of it early in the game. This one costs 400 blueprints. The issue with this weapon is that it overheats fairly quick, and the other issue is it's 150 meter range, so you do have to play extremely close. But the bonus side of it is it does overheat the enemy, so the enemy will not be able to shoot you as long as you are hitting them with this. Next up is the Breaker, one of the deadliest medium weapons in the game. This one actually has, I would say, similar firepower to the 06, maybe a little bit higher. And the reason for this is that, the reason why I say this is it does shoot every 1 second, whereas the 06 actually has 0 seconds, so it just shoots continuously. So the Breaker takes a shot, waits a little bit, and takes another shot, similar to a shotgun. Now the range is 250 meters. When you're at that range, you will have a bullet spread, so the closer you are, the more damage you'll do with this weapon. This one actually costs 20,000 gold, so it's very pricey. Definitely worth it. If you cannot afford it, don't worry about it. You feel free to pick up an 06 or a hammer or both of those, because it will take a while to earn the Breaker unless you spend money. Next up is the Viper. This one was recently released, 350 meter range, and it shoots every 2.3 seconds. So it does shoot in bursts, and it costs 650 blueprints. The bonus of this weapon is that you can accumulate a total of 10% defense down on the enemy. So if you're playing a support role and you're shooting the enemy for quite some time, you can reduce their defense points by 10%, so they'll take that much more damage by everyone else. This weapon also does damage over time, which it doesn't really do much damage over time, but it is still an important thing to have, especially when enemies are running away with very little health. Next up is we'll look at the heavy weapons. So I'm gonna pick my spark and tap on a heavy weapon. Here I'll switch over to the store. This is a list of heavy weapons you have here on the left side. First up is the Bolt, 250 meters, it shoots every 4.4 seconds, costs 500,000 silver. The issue with this, it does have a 25 meter splash damage, so keep that in mind. Very good. But you do have to shoot every one of your rounds before you fully reload. So again, you'll have 6 shots. You have to fire all 6 before your weapon will fully reload. This is an issue because in a match where you are facing off against 2 enemies, it will take you about 4, maybe 5 of these shots to destroy the enemy, and you'll be left with 1 shot before you have to fully reload. And it'll take some time before you do reload, so that'll be 4 seconds for you to do that. So it'll leave you vulnerable. That one costs 500,000 silver. Next one up is one of my favorites, the Hornet. This one is 450 meters range. It does shoot every 4 seconds, similar to the drill bit, so definitely a good combination using the Hornet and the drill bit on the Spark. It does do a 20 meter splash damage, and it costs 1 million silver. So I would say purchase that if you're trying to make silver and gold fairly early in the game. So yeah, definitely a good buy in there. Next one up is the Thunder. This one costs 300 blueprints. It has a range of 400 meters, It does overheat fairly quick, so keep in mind which bot you're setting it up on. But it does slow down the enemy, so that is a bonus to it. It does do a high rate of damage, so if you're able to purchase it. I've seen players use it on a Spark, actually 2 of these on a Spark, and they do fairly well with it. So if you want to purchase that, go ahead. Next one up is the Heavy Bolt. This thing used to terrorize players simply because of its range, 600 meters. It fires 4 rockets. These do lock onto the target. Very, very good against slow moving targets. Against quick moving targets such as primes, they could dodge it. So I don't recommend using it against them. The purchase price of this is 12,000 gold. If you have the gold for it, you can purchase it. If not, don't worry about it. You don't really need it. Next one up is the Jigsaw. This is a laser weapon. Not very good. The damage rate is fairly low. It does overheat your bot pretty quick, even though it has a low overheating rate of 390. But yeah, it costs 10,000 gold. I would not recommend purchasing this. Next one up is the Titan. Titan is 450 blueprints. It does have a range of 450 meters. This does have a rapid fire, just like the Nyx. Definitely a good weapon. Only issue is when it's up against fast targets, or when it's going up against targets that jump in the air, you will notice that your shots will not land on your target. So keep that in mind. But other than that, it's a very, very good weapon. So 450 blueprints for that one. The Axle is a sniper weapon. 500 meter range. It does have a splash damage of 25 meters, although against shield bots it doesn't seem to register at the moment. It does shoot every 6 seconds, so it takes quite a while for it to reload. But it does very high damage, so definitely a good weapon to use when you're trying to make silver. This one is 600 blueprints, so you can work on that one. The Eagle Eye, similar, another sniper weapon. This one is 750 meters, so you can shoot farther away. It does do less damage than the Axle, and it does not have a splash damage, but it does shoot every 2 seconds. So the Axle shoots every 6. With the Eagle, you'll be able to shoot between 2 to 3 shots to compensate. That one is 14,000 gold. If you have the gold for it, you can purchase it. If not, you don't have to worry about it. Again, you do have other options such as the Hornet that does massive damage, and the Axle. Next up is the Hawk. This one is 700 blueprints, so it will take some time to get it. Now this one has 450 meter range. It does shoot every 6 seconds, so it'll leave you vulnerable for a good moment. But if you do land your shots, it will slow down the target, and it does damage to enemies that are around 20 meters away. So keep that in mind. You can work on that one as well. Heavy Twins. I do not recommend this weapon. This weapon is a, I would say like a twin cannon weapon. Yep, it says here, twin cannon. And its fire rate is every second. But again, to land these shots at a distance is fairly difficult unless you're going up against slow moving bots. The max range is 500 meters and the blueprints is 500, so it's completely up to you whether or not you want to get it. In my experience, I would not recommend it. The Guardian, a recent release in the Mech Wars game. its range is 750 meters. This one does cost 700 blueprints, similar to the Hawk. Now, what's amazing about this weapon is this weapon actually is better than the Eagle Eye. Now, the reason why I say this is that this weapon has the same fire rate, has the same distance, 750 meters, but it does do a little bit more damage. And not only that, against any prime bots that have a rechargeable shield, one shot, regardless of its level, will take away their regeneration shield. So that is a bonus, a massive bonus. This weapon I do recommend getting. It's 700 blueprints, so you should definitely get to work on that one. That's all the weapons we have here. Now we can do some quick setups, for example. So again, we got the Alpha Bot. So a couple of combinations would be putting on 2 Dominators and an 06. Right, that would be one combination. That is highly deadly. Another combination is this one, the Spark, carrying 2 Hornets and 2 drill bits. If you don't like waiting to land damage, you can use the Thunders. Again, these ones do heat up quite quickly, so having something with drill bits would set it off a bit. But you could use something with, like, for example, Claymers. So that's another combination you could use. Or switching out these ones, the Thunder, for switching out the Thunder for the Titans is another great combination, and switching those Claymers out for Dominators. This thing is highly deadly, especially if you can get close enough to the enemy, which shouldn't be that difficult since you can use the rush ability and use your stealth to hit them. So that's another great combination. Now here I have the Bowie that I was talking about earlier. This one has 3 06 and a Dominator. You can also decide to use 3 Breakers and a Dominator as well. That is extremely dangerous. So you can use that type of combination as well. Other combinations I've seen are the following. You have the Crusher with the Heavy Bolt. If you just want to stand back and just press that fire button, you can use that one. The next one is the Guardian Crusher. Deadly if you're able to land your shots at 750 meter range. Or the Axle at 500 meter range as well. This one's a deadly sniper bot. So those are pretty much all the combinations I would like to share with you. Any other bots that you want to use are up to your own discretion and setups as well. But again, like I said in the previous video, you can use the Alpha Bot, a good buy. You can use the Spark, another excellent purchase, and the Bowie as well. So those 3 bots are probably going to be your money makers in the long run. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you again next time.